So in this lesson today, we're going to be talking about surface area and volume of a cylinder. Are we ready?
Yeah!
Alright, starting with surface area. We have this cylinder here, and we're going to talk about the surface area first. So surface area. So we're going to take the area, or find the area of all the surfaces. Let's break it down. How many surfaces do we have? We have the top, which is a surface. What shape is the top?
Circle.
So we have a circle. We have the bottom here, another circle. And then we have this lateral surface here. And if we were to cut this piece here and stretch it out, what shape would that make?
Rectangle.
Awesome, that would make a rectangle. Alright, so really to find the surface area of this cylinder, I'm going to find the area of a circle, add it to another circle, actually the same exact circle, and then find the area of the rectangle here. Alright, how do you find the area of a circle? Yep.
Pi r squared.
Yeah, so we have pi times r squared is the area of one circle. Well, it's going to be the same circle, so same area, so area equals pi r squared as well. And then how do you find the area of a rectangle? Yeah, so it's length times width is the area, so we have length times width. I'm going to focus in on this rectangle for a second. The width here of the rectangle is what part of the cylinder? What dimension of the cylinder? Yep. Yeah, the width is actually the height. So I'm going to erase this W here and actually call the width the height. So this is my H here. So that's going to be that piece here. And then the length is going to represent what part of the cylinder. The length will represent what part of the cylinder. So remember, if I take this whole piece of paper and then cut it, it will stretch out. But that whole piece, if I were to fold it up to become a cylinder, that length actually represents the circumference of the circle. So how do I find the area of this rectangle? It's really just the circumference times the height of the prism. So pi r squared will give me the top, pi r squared will give me the bottom, and then the circumference times the height of the prism will give me the lateral surface. Almost there. So the surface area equals pi r squared plus the same pi r squared plus, now in any formula you look up, you're never going to find circumference times the height as the formula for this for the cylinder here. How else can we write circumference? What's another formula for circumference I'm going to write here on the side? There's actually two different forms. Yep. Yeah, one form is 2 pi r, so 2 times pi times r, or the other form is pi times d. Okay? So 2 pi r or pi times the diameter. We're actually going to, so rather than writing circumference here, I'm going to write 2 pi r, which is the circumference. So 2 times pi times r, and then times h. So one more step. If you have 1 pi r squared plus another pi r squared, how many pi r squareds do we have? 2. We have 2. So 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h. And that is actually the formula of the cylinder. Now that we have this formula, let's find the surface area. Before I start doing anything, I'm going to make a list of what I need. I need a radius, and I need a height. Those are the only two variables I have here, r and h. S was the surface area. What is the radius of this cylinder? 13. And I'll write the 13 meters there. And what's the height of the cylinder? Yep, 10 meters. So now I have my formula. You have your givens, which is your radius and your height. And lastly, plug in. So I have 2 times pi times 13 squared plus 2 times pi times radius, which is 13, and then times 10. S equals 13 squared is 13 times 13, which is 169. 169 times 2 is going to be, anybody? 338, thank you. So 338 pi. And then the second component here is, I'm going to multiply first. 2 times 13, 26. 26 times 10. So 260 pi. And then I could combine these like terms. So what is 338 plus 260? 598 pi meters squared would be my answer in terms of pi. So depending on what level you're at, 598 pi meters squared is an appropriate answer. Or if you're told to use pi as 3.14, an approximation, then take one last step here, and S equals 598 times 3.14. Multiply those two. Yep. $1,377.7 meters squared. Let's get some verification on that. Oops, sorry, this is 1,877.7 meters squared. And that is the surface area of a cylinder. Finish this up and do the volume of a cylinder. It's a little easier. So the volume is, when you think of volume, what are we thinking about? When we think about volume, yeah, how much fits in the inside of this, right? How much will fit in this? So if you have a glass, how much water will fit in the glass? Or if you have a sandbox, how much sand will fit in there, right? So how much will fit inside? All right, so volume. At a 7th grade level, your reference sheet says volume equals, and you have one generic formula that says base times height. That's the only formula they give you for volume. But what does that base represent? Right? What is the in terms of base? Yep. Yeah, it's the area of your base. So this is really the area of the base times the height is what gives you volume. Question you got to ask yourself is, what shape is your base? What shape is your base? Yeah, so you have your base is in the shape of a circle. So let's go back and take some prior knowledge. What is the area of a circle? Yep.
Pi r squared.
Pi r squared. Perfect. So then my volume is equal to B times H, and B is my area of the circle, or pi r squared. So any two-dimensional area times a height will give you a volume. So now, okay, well, what do I need? Well, I need R and I need H. Do I have R? Yeah. What's R? 13 meters. What's H? 10 meters. Perfect. So I got everything I need to find the volume. So volume is equal to pi times 13 squared times 10. Volume equals, what's 13 squared? 169 times 10, 169.0 pi meters cubed, because we're volume. Volume's three-dimensional, so my units should be meters to the third power. That's your answer in terms of pi, or if you're using 3.14 for pi, give it to me one more time. 5,306.6 meters cubed. Again, that's just taking 190 or 1690 and multiplying by 3.14, and that'll be your final answer rounded to the nearest tenths.